A 23-year-old male who was pre-morbidly healthy, he was admitted with history of fever on and off since last 3 to 4 months. His first episode of fever was in April 2018, for which he was admitted outside for 4 days. His fever then recurred on 4th of May 2018 with a papular eruption all over his body. He was extensively investigated for pyrexia of unknown origin. This is a summary of his outside investigations, suggestive of a hemoglobin of 11.3, TLC count of 7,300, and a platelet of 230,000. His creatinine, LFT, urine routine were normal. Dengue, malaria, and Vidal were negative. Blood culture was negative. Brucella, IgG, and IgM both were negative. TT, TB quantiferon was negative. ANA, PNCA, CNCA, ASO all were negative, and a procal was 0.14. His CT abdomen pelvis was also performed, which was suggestive of an ill-defined soft tissue subcutaneous stranding on chest wall and abdomen. His PET scan was done in May. It was suggestive of a possibility of erythema nodosum with panniculitis. Bone marrow aspiration biopsy was performed, suggestive of trilineage hematopoiesis, and a skin biopsy of the lesion performed on 8th of May was suggestive of erythema nodosum. On 1st of August 2018, this gentleman presented to Jahangir Hospital with history of persistent fever, hematuria, and rash on the body. His extensive outside workup was already present with us, and there was no evidence of any specific infection, no evidence of any TB or lymphoma, no evidence of any specific rheumatological disorder. The only positive finding was erythema nodosum. On general examination, he was afebrile. His pulse was 99 per minute, was regular. BP was 120 by 80. He had icterus. Pallor was present. There was no cyanosis, clubbing, or lymphadenopathy. Extensive erythema nodosum lesions on upper limbs and lower limbs were present. His systemic examination was essentially normal. His day 1 lab was suggestive of an hemoglobin of 9.9, which had come down previously from 11.3. His platelet has also reduced to 1,45,000. His INR had gone up to 1.88. A previously normal creat of 0.4 had gone up to 1.92. His bilirubin was raised with a total of 6.27 and direct of 5.59. Alkaline phosphatase was 356, ALT was 1130, and AST was 1981. In view of persistent fever, rashes, and transaminitis, his ferritin, LDH, and triglycerides were done. Ferritin was 40,638, LDH was 3,495, and triglycerides were 516. In course in the ward, he had a bleeding from a previous dental extraction site and a fresh PR bleed. His fever was persistent and also complained of breathlessness. So the working diagnosis at this point was PUO with HLH. He was started on steroids on 2nd of August. His fever persisted. He had persistent pancytopenia. There was increased purpuric patches with fresh PR bleeding. So on 6th of August, along with DEXA, injection etoposide 150 mg and 250 ml NS and capsule cyclosporin 100 mg BD was added. On 9th of August, he developed DIC with PR bleed and thrombosis of right cubital vein of right upper limb. His APTT value was more than 2 minutes. His PT was more than 2 minutes. Fibrinogen was 56. His HB had further dropped to 4.6 with a TLC of 2,500 and a platelet of 64,000. He was treated with blood products, FFP, PCV, and mainly cryoprecipitate in view of DIC. This state of DIC persisted for another 8 days. There was persistent worsening in spite of steroids, etoposide, and cyclophosphamide. Hence, he was started on IVIG at a dose of 800 mg per kg per day for 2 days on 11th of August. Steroids and etoposide were continued. On 17th, he developed febrile neutropenia with sepsis and was treated with colistin as he had a resistant E. coli infection. So this is a summary of his investigations. He was admitted on the 1st. On the 2nd, his steroids were started, but there was no significant improvement. On the 11th, we had given him IVIG, after which we can see an improvement in his HB, WBC, as well as his platelet count. So the LDH level, which was 3,495, gradually came down to 482. Ferritin, which was more than 2000, came down to 4,773. There was also improvement in his transaminitis. His alkaline phosphatase, which was 356, had come down to 241. ALT, which was 1130, had come down to 248. And AST, which was 1981, had come down to 154. So on 23rd of August, his DIC settled, fever settled, pancytopenia improved, appetite also improved. He was shifted on to the ward on 27th of August and discharged on 31st. The treatment on discharge was given as tablet Dexa 4 mg OD, cyclosporin 100 mg BD, and etoposide to be taken once a week on daycare basis. So the final diagnosis in this case was HLH with disseminated intravascular coagulation. So is this HLH primary was our concern, as the workup for our infectious diseases were negative, workup for rheumatological diseases were also negative, and there was no evidence of any malignancy. Hence, the patient was advised genetic workup to rule out primary HLH. Patient came to daycare basis for injection etoposide for 2 weeks. He was doing well. Unfortunately, he did not follow up at Jahangir for further treatment. He continued his treatment at another hospital for a few months. He was well until March 2019, where he developed another episode of HLH and died in March 2019. Unfortunately, the report of genetic workup could not be traced. So still the likely diagnosis is primary HLH.